so order will be case and case order. So I'll go through inerrancy, the whole archetype argument, and then militarized humanitarianism. Talk about solvency for a little bit. And then I'll do some impact framing. I guess you could put it at the bottom of the solvency flip.
Okay.
And then cap, then the soft power DA.
Okay.
Then the narratives. Actually, put the narratives like after solvency. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. And then politics last.
Okay, so it's case debate, narrative, soft power, politics.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes. Case debate, narratives, cap, soft power, politics. Yep.
One more time.
So case and case order.
Yep.
Up until solvency, then after solvency, narratives.
Okay.
Then cap K,
Then
then
cap.
soft power,
Okay.
PA, and then politics.
Okay.
Is everyone ready? Yeah. All right, great.
Okay.
All right. First of all, Senator Jeffries, our heresy evidence, our Jeffries had evidence that talks about specifically how like decriminalization, true decriminalization does not exist. Legalizing is the only option to like actually address these issues. Due to the fact that like decriminalization like is less popular with legislators who are actually aware of the problems. And again, extend our ZAS 97 evidence that talks about how like the current implementation, like the current like legalization and everything produces like the same violence as they're trying to solve. Due to the fact that because of selective enforcement of prostitution laws, the police can harass prostitutes and do pretty messed up things because of the regulations that exist now. And again, extend our ZAS 97 evidence that also talks about how just because we have like legislation doesn't mean it's necessarily good. We should, due to the fact that it's just like it actually oppresses sex workers, and like we shouldn't settle for this like the terrible conditions that exist right now. Also, they on to the next flow. Extend our Honucius 13 evidence that talks about how prostitutes have stories, and it's crucial to like breaking down the current. Break down the current pathologies and the current stigmas. As in the status quo, like they're seen as like dirty, sexually indiscriminatory, and willing to do anything for money, as like stated by this card. And like that discourse is like really problematic when you actually like try to affect change. Due to the fact that like these dominant narratives about prostitution like will definitely affect people's attitude. Narratives of like the actual people affected should be included, and their experience should be shared in order to clear up the stigmas that exist. And that was our evidence. And extend the fact that our Crew 5 evidence that talks about how inclusion is justified like via the prostitute pathology. Again, like just this perception that they're like depraved, diseased, abused, like just victimization of them makes it so that it just makes them, it excludes them. It's completely exclusionary, and like once you silence their voices, you can't affect change. And extend our price to evidence. This is talking about how, due to the fact that we exclude them, we like began to exclude them in government due to the fact that like these stigmas exist and that need to be changed. And like the impact of this is that like it just re-entrenches, raises exclusionary stereotypes due to the fact that again they will never be seen as what they truly are because they're not able to actually like interact with the system in a way that is not subversive to them. And they completely conceded our like militarized humanitarianism. Again, it's like this conception of like good versus evil, like that portrays people as damsels in distress. Like that it justifies like very like a bunch of atrocities. Like this card specifically mentions like the invasion of I don't know if it's this card, but like basically like the reason we have invaded like Iraq, we were looking for nuclear weapons. Why did we states like we needed to protect these women, and like this and like that ties into our Mahanti evidence that talks about how this is just like it just results in endless wars, and due to the fact that like just these racial and gendered ideologies like just like when people become militarized, they are just like indiscriminatory. Certain bodies become like indispensable, and like it just becomes like. And this securitized like humanitarianism like just like leads to like a blank check for violence. It just basically justifies any action due to the fact that they're They're just different. And again, onto solvency, they were saying that the status quo solves best. That's like simply not true due to the fact that they're being like prostitutes are being like negatively affected. They can't even like participate effectively due to the stigmas that are on them. Then they talk about how like legalization fails for like multiple reasons. But again, legalization, like actually, like it would allow for prostitutes to unionize and gives them control of the narrative surrounding prostitution. It allows them to change the whole perspective. Which like in by placing the regulations on the facilitators, you're actually able to like get rid of these things that are like negatively affecting them. All the violences that are being committed towards them, and like you give them the ability to unionize and work together to actually like fight back the things that are happening, and like actually generate non-stigmatizing legislation and legalization, and that's our stats evidence. We need non-stigmatizing legalization, and they're saying that there's like too many unforeseen consequences to legalization. Again, make them prove specific instances why legalization, our method of legalization would not work. And they said that legalization increases trafficking. That's simply not true. It's a simple supply, like it's basically like supply and demand. If like demand increases for a good, like if anything, like it will drive up the price. So prostitutes will have even more of a say. Like they'll have more of a like economic standpoint, like more of an just more economic leverage due to the fact that like just demand increases, so does like the price they're able to charge, and actually like empowers them even more. And they also talk about how like legalization increases violence against women, but that's like simply not true due to the fact that when it's legalized, they will be able to like unionize and actually like fight back against these issues. And cross-supplier hallucination evidence that talks about how like narratives are key to actually like, this is on the narrative slope. Narratives are actually key to like break down the currently existing stigmas and like the current existing like structural violences and bad things that are happening. But like the narratives need to be included to actually change the way we even view things. Cross-apply the Hagman and Cavalti evidence to this. Again, we should focus on like actual scenarios, these actual violences instead of just focusing on like the apocalyptic scenarios they're like talking about. So yeah, just like basically we need the narratives to actually be able to solve. On to the capitalism critique. Let's see. Actually, impact framing. Actually, no, yeah, capitalism. Capitalism creates the conditions for reflexivity, no risk of runaway consumerism or extinction. That's cut 10. Capitalism promotes innovation as a path to innovation. Science offers critical analysis to believe science away to uncover false conscience. Is the quest for an innovative workforce first seeks out educated individuals from widely varying backgrounds. This society supports such innovation will support the education of individuals from all walks of life. The necessary byproduct will be the creation of critical thinking individuals who question capitalist fetishes and firm to the plan in all non-competitive parts of the alternative. Only piecemeal reform can solve. That's Gross Bergen 92. If capitalism is at stake, our moral opposition has to be tempered by the realities of the possibility of political change taken in relation to it. As condemnation are sufficient, it's not likely to establish a viable agenda. The masses are not waiting to be led into revolution. They feel unarticulated future is simply too weak to organize the people, too vague to provide any direction. Left must think of ways to rearticulate capitalism. And capitalism is inevitable. Evolutionary theory and neurobiology history prove. That's Wilkinson 5. Marxist theories of biological tendency. Evolutionary psychology specializes in uncovering the truth. The basic constitution of the human mind hasn't been changed precisely for about 50,000 years. Our disposition to term as a system is irredeemable and has unavoidable political implications. Those who command a higher status have better access to material resources and mating opportunities. There's no way to stop dominance-seeking behavior. We can only challenge through non-harmful uses. Mark the card there. Then moving on to the DA. The case outweighs, again, like these instances of structural violence and oppression should be put first. And no link. They just say numerous countries have legalized, not that other countries scarcely also legalize. And war and terror policies make it impossible for us to gain the soft power that's been Buren in 12 because of the human rights violations associated with Guantanamo. The system has a profound impact on the perceptions of the U.S. and its values. Guantanamo, along with the rendition of Abu Ghraib fields in Iraq and Afghanistan, has undermined American soft power internationally. It remains an embarrassment for the U.S. government, and soft power can't be manipulated. Obama can't exercise it. That's 412. The United States soft power fails. The most important aspects of society associated with our strengths cannot be personally seared. This limits the ability to translate the soft impact of the soft power. The U.S. history of all attempts to leverage bully pulpit. These tools are sharp limits, slow, indistinct, and indirect effects. Mark the card there. And moving on to politics. structural violence contours the focus on nuclear war, magnifies the threats and blows them out of proportion. The worst present scenario logically is what empirically results in a lack of focus on structural violence. If we can, we think that war with Russia is a problem without understanding that it trades off with structural violence. And also that this as non-unique regulations are definitely inevitable in prostitution in the school. It's just a question of whether regulation is effective or not. And midterms, there's no impact to Senate control. That's the 9-9. And in the spirit of polarization, gridlock, the difference we will make the midterm election doesn't mean to be about anything in particular. I'm not sure it's going to be a referendum or anything. Since nothing happens in the Senate now under a narrow Democratic majority, why would anything be different under a narrow Republican majority? And healthcare thumbs the lake. That's Hoffman in 18. Healthcare is still a political issue in the ballot for the Senate. Both Republicans and Democratic candidates have, marked the card.
Okay, so then you take him to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll hold the door open. So then you take him to the bathroom. Ezra Sterling's going to take you. Just take the headphones off. That way. Yep. That way. That way. Is that the end? On the left. Okay. No, it's on this hallway. It's on your left. Keep going straight. Keep going straight. Look at the doors. Okay. Take him into the bathroom. Okay, we're good.
Ready? Okay. Alright. Going down to your soft power response. You made the statement that we had no link. What was that argument there?
Just basically like numerous countries have legalized, not that any other countries like care if we actually legalize. Sorry, what was your link? I'll explain how we don't link.
Okay. Here, let me pull it up so that I can get the exact wording right. You know what? Actually, let's just move on. It's not that. It's not that big deal. All right, let's go to cap. You only spent a little bit here. You permed, and then you said the cap was inevitable, right? Just to make
Yes,
sure I
that's
have what I
correct.
said. All right.
Okay, so wait, real quickly on that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
How do you term?
The perm was like perm, do the plan, and all mutually exclusive, all non-competitive parts of the alternative. Yeah, but alright, so like the way the perm would function would be like perm, do the plan, and then like, yeah, like the plan obviously has like good benefits.
Is your argument that under your current plan there isn't capitalism?
No, I'm just saying perm, do the plan because there's probably good things about the plan.
I got you.
And that's what you need
Okay.
Great.
to do the,
All right, let's move to narratives. You made the statement that narratives break down stigmas. Pretty much, that's why we need them, right?
Well, we need to include we need to include them in discussion to actually like break down the stigmas, to actually like learn what's actually true, not just let some like authors.
Right, so we don't want to listen to their words, we just want to hear the actual stories, correct?
Well, yeah, like
That's your statement, correct?
yeah, we need to like break down the stigma by actually like listening
Okay,
to
all right, did you respond to any of the analysis of the multiple cards that I read of why it's actually hurtful to read narratives? Or did you just make that statement?
I made that statement, I can elaborate on it later.
Okay, great. Let's move on to your solvency. Your first point was that legalization basically is going to change the perspective of people. Is that your argument?
Yeah, like legalization. So like once you actually allow these people to participate and like actually open up the space for them to be able to be heard, they can like change the way we approach policy, the way we like approach the legalization of it. Our SAS 97 evidence is really good about this. So it talks about how we need to take a step back and like move away. We need to like make legislation, like legalization that is not stigmatizing. The only way we can achieve that is by including the voices of the people who are actually directly involved.
All right, that's kind of going back to narratives, but to get back on solvency. So let me get this straight. You're saying that if we make something legal, then that changes people's minds, what they believe.
I mean, yeah, like if something's illegal, people are gonna be like, oh, wow, that's the worst thing in the world. When in reality,
Don't most people in the U.S. kind of think of things, whether they're right or wrong, not based on laws, but just based on their own convictions?
I guess.
Okay.
Okay, what was, okay.
Okay, you have 9:30 of prep?
Yes, we do. And I'm using that right now.
Okay.